Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from Fight Talk.
And I'm Adam Nicholas from Fight Talk.
And let's just dive straight into today's news stories because Colby Covington basically wants to fight the world. The dust has barely settled on his phenomenal, let's be honest, victory over Robbie Lawler at UFC on ESPN 5. And yeah, he's been having a go at literally everyone on social media. They've been having to go straight back. It seems to never end when it comes to Colby Covington. So, of course, a lot of people had things to say in the immediate aftermath, not only in terms of his performance at UFC on ESPN 5 against Robbie Lawler, but also in terms of the promo that he cut. Tyron Woodley was on Ariel Helwani's show yesterday talking about how he probably shouldn't have mentioned Matt Hughes' terrible train accident, of course, as part of this big hype of his hype train, I suppose, as he heads towards a potential title fight against Kamaru Usman. John Jones tweeted, Robbie just let the whole world down, and Ben Askren even had his say on it all, tweeting, I want to apologise for losing. Now, he wasn't apologising for losing specifically to Jorge Masvidal, or as he calls him, George. He said, I want to apologise for losing because now you all have to listen to Marty and Colby talk to each other. It'll be damn near unbearable. Now, before we get into that, we should mention that Colby was hitting back at everyone after talking to MMA Fighting yesterday. He said all the stupid pundits were out there saying Robbie's going to knock him out. The only way Colby can win is by taking him down. I wanted to prove to the world that it didn't matter if it was King Kong in there, but it was Robbie Lawler, who's the most dangerous and lethal striker in the division. I went out there and outclassed him in every martial art there is. Responding to John Bones Jones's tweets, he said, John Bones Jones is out there talking about Robbie Lawler letting the world down. Well, he let the world down. Robbie Lawler's not wrecking a Bentley with hookers in the back of his car or hitting a pregnant lady, then fleeing the scene with all the drugs in his car. On Tyron Woodley, he said, I begged to fight Woodley for 3 years and he ran, and continued on that and explained about his continuous story about accusing Tyron Woodley of faking injuries. And on Ben Askren, he said, Ben Askren, what can you say? I'm breaking all the records, except I'm never going to beat Ben Askren's record for being knocked out in 5 seconds, the worst knockout in the history of the UFC. No. He's just shooting on everyone, isn't he?
He is. He's having a good time while he's doing it. I'm conflicted here because some of those I really enjoyed, but I still can't, I just can't get away with him personally. But listen, he's in the spotlight, isn't he? He's in the spotlight right now. You can see it. He's talking all sorts of stuff. To be fair to him though, after that performance, and how much he absolutely outclassed Robbie Lawler.
Yeah.
You kind of can't blame him.
I mean, Ben Askren himself was talking about, and Tyron Woodley, to be fair, were talking about how stacked that division is. We mentioned it the other day. We were booking Leon Edwards versus Masvidal. There's rumours about Askren potentially fighting Damian Maia, which would be a phenomenal contest in my opinion. I kind of understand where he's coming from. Not only is, that's his bread and butter, his sort of occasionally sort of knock off Chael Sonnen levels of trash talking, but he knows that people got really excited, and the following week after that Masvidal-Askren fight, all they could talk about was Jorge Masvidal potentially getting a title shot. He knows he has to capitalise on this now. He doesn't want another opportunity to fight for the title to pass him by, and so he is not only shooting on Usman, of course we saw they had to be held apart in that post-match press conference, but he wants to be the guy that everyone is talking about, and to be fair, he is. Doing
a good job, because here we are talking about him right now, so can't really argue with these methods.
And also, he's being very clever there in terms of, not necessarily shooting on John Bones Jones, but the Askren and the Woodley takedowns are almost setting himself up for potential title defences, or even if it all goes wrong against Usman or that fight doesn't materialise, potential other opponents in that division. He knows what he's doing. He is at the height of his powers right now. He is the guy that people are talking about in that division. And so, in a way, fair play to him. I still am conflicted, though, in terms of not only the way that he carries himself generally in interviews, but also the Matt Hughes stuff just really hit a bum note with me.
Not for me, that. Not for me. And, be a showman, do all that. If you want to tweet people's stuff and get into it with like John Jones and Askren, fine. Absolutely fine. Something like that. For me, I don't want that. I want to keep that away personally.
It's well worth checking out Tyron Woodley's interview with Ariel Helwani when he talks about this, and Ben Askren's, to be fair, because Woodley was not happy with Colby mentioning Matt Hughes' fight, and also the accusations that he's ducked fights and he's injured. What Woodley is doing here, he was talking about the Usman Covington fight. I think he realises he's not really in that conversation right now. Yeah. But what he was setting himself up for, and he literally said this, is if anyone pulls out of that fight, he is willing to step in.
And why not?
And he said he's going to be back healthy, ready to fight around sort of October, November time. To which Helwani said, does that mean you're going to have a fight on that card? And he's very much like, he knows his stock. He's a former champion who only just lost the belt to Usman. So why fight someone else instead of just waiting in the wings for potentially the winner of that fight, or as I said, if anyone drops out?
Instead of getting ready, just stay ready, and then if that call comes and someone drops out, he can fill the gap.
And he was training with GSP.
He was, that's right. He said he was going across. And it was a weird thing because people were concerned, talking about potential fight.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I'm here to learn and train. I want to get better, and respect for that.
Not a bad person to learn from. GSP.
Not a bad guy to learn from at all.
No, very good.
Shall we move on?
Yeah, let's move on.
Let's move on. Well, one of the people that Colby Covington was jipping was John Jones, and we've got some John Jones related news here. When you think of the name John Jones, what is the other name that you immediately think of to go with that? Right answers only.
Yes, Daniel Cormier.
Daniel Cormier, of course. Daniel Cormier and Jones have been completely tied together in the world of MMA, of course, with their two fights and all the controversy behind what has happened in those fights. And Cormier's got the match coming up against Stipe Miocic, and that is a great rematch we're all very much looking forward to seeing. But he can't get John Jones' name away from his, and there's been more speculation about a potential third fight that just will not go away. Now, he's been talking to ESPN and to MMA Fighting, and he's got a few things to say regarding that. A few quotes here for you, I'll just read them out now. It says, when it comes to Jones, I know now with all I've accomplished, I don't need that fight. I'll be fine regardless, but it will be something we revisit. Me and my team of management and everybody else, and we'll see if it's something we want to do. Ultimately, it will be my decision. Things are different. I feel like Jones is competing so many times because he has to try and regain the faith of the fans, which is fair enough, but also to retake his place in the sport, and I did that. He says, at this point in my career and my life, if you asked me these questions 3 years ago in 2015, after having lost, of course, to Jones, he said, I'd get all kinds of fired up about everything John Jones. Now, I'm in a different time in my life.
Really interesting, this. Yeah, I distinctly remember when DC won the heavyweight title from Miocic. You came into work the next day and said he's literally done what John Jones said he was going to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And
it's really difficult, this, because I went into the first DC fight. I was a huge John Jones proponent. I remember. I discovered him when he was fighting Shogun Rua, and he caught a criminal the day of. He ran down a criminal and robbed someone or something, and then he went in and spectacularly won the title against Shogun Rua, and then of course he continued his defenses despite having issues and all the stuff that happened around that Gustafsson fight as well. And so when he first fought DC, I was Team Jones all the way. So I was like, who's this guy?
And a lot of people would have been fair at that point.
But subsequently, you can't argue that despite the fact John Jones is one of the most talented MMA fighters ever, he is his own worst enemy. And DC is just a lovely bloke who's phenomenally talented. The two-weight division champion. Of course. Absolutely destroyed Stipe Miocic in that first fight with that uppercut in the clinch sort of thing. But having said all that, having said everything, that he's a two-weight world champion, he's fought all comers, he's been looked phenomenal. The question will always remain, but could he ever beat John Jones?
That is a question he's going to have to ask himself. Is he happy to just kind of go, you know what it is, I don't really need this fight, I don't need to prove anything, I know it in here, which is important for him, I guess, mentally. But everyone is always going to ask the question, if he doesn't have that third fight, what if? Could he have done it? He never ever beat him. Could he have possibly done it? Regardless of whether there was controversy surrounding
whether it's
Jones' victories or not.
Heavyweight.
Whatever the level. Would you want to see it? Where would you want to see it at if it happened?
I kind of think you want to see it at light heavyweight. I think that's where they've both fought. That's where they made their bread and butter.
That's where it started.
What would be interesting out of all this? I mean, we're looking past Stipe Miocic here, who is a credible, and I think could well defeat DC for that heavyweight title. I think he maybe took DC pretty lightly in the first fight, or maybe took his striking, I should say, lightly. And DC is just an absolute mauler, especially at heavyweight, where he doesn't really have to cut weight or anything like that.
He looked more comfortable, in my opinion.
The question is, and this is complete, pie in the sky thinking. If you turn around to DC after that Stipe fight and say, okay, you can have one more fight, you can fight John Jones again, or you can fight Brock Lesnar. I don't know which one he'd pick there.
Oh, there's a shout. There's a shout now, isn't
I'd like hasten to add, hopefully a slightly more tested Brock Lesnar.
Yes, someone who passes with flying colours, I would hope, because we don't want that again.
He was pissing with flying colours last time.
Listen, I think if you ask me, maybe it would be a bigger statement if Cormier just kind of said, I don't need this. I don't need this fight. I can walk away from it. It would show mental strength on his part. That's what I would suggest. I know not the rest of the world will see it that way, but that's how I would see it anyway.
Jones, if the moment he does that, Jones is just
straight on, won't he?
He'll tweet something like, "Hey pussy, can you hear me now?" It is. I mean, it's the fight that won't go away. Yeah. I think the fans want to see that more than Brock Lesnar.
Oh, I think so. I mean, you want something definitive. One of the fans, I guess.
Right, let's move on to another potential title fight that could be heading our way. Joanna Jędrzejczyk, of course, is fighting in the main event of UFC San Francisco against Michelle Waterson. Her first fight back down there since, I think, July 2018. But it's now being reported that if she wins that fight, ATT, American Top Team owner Dan Lambert, is saying that she could well be awarded a title shot by the UFC. He was talking about this weight cut because obviously she mentioned in her 2 defeats to Rose Namajunas that the weight cut was the thing that really affected her. Dan Lambert talking about that said, I guess I'll tell you after the camp how the weight cut went. She has the best chance to get a title shot at strawweight. The UFC told her with a win, she gets a title shot. I'm happy to see her have a clear path to get a title shot. That's him chatting to BJPenn.com. Now, of course, the interesting thing here is the fact that Jędrzejczyk has got a dominant victory over Jessica Andrade, who, of course, is the current champion there, and has called out Jędrzejczyk as a potential opponent of hers. That's a fight I'd love to see. I mean, the Rose Namajunas matches were stunning between Jędrzejczyk and Namajunas, but if she wins, if she defeats Michelle Waterson and can hopefully handle the weight cut a little bit better, a title match could be on the cards for her. Absolutely,
and I guess you'd say if she can't come to all, fully deserved.
And I'd arguably, I consider, we mentioned the history there. Looking at that fight, if she does get to fight for the title against Jessica Andrade, I think she has to go in as favourite, despite the fact she's not champion. But yeah, exciting times in this women's strawweight division, and that's a fight a lot of fans will want to see.
I think so. A lot of fans want to see it, and another fight that a lot of fans want to see though has kind of, almost, definitely, nearly, just about been confirmed for Madison Square Garden show. Obviously, we've got UFC 244 coming up.
What fights are they adding to this card?
I don't know, but I don't mind as long as they're going to be of this caliber. I do not mind, because we have been getting reports from ESPN that Corey Anderson and Johnny Walker's planned potential bout at UFC 244 is edging closer. I can't say it's definitely happened yet, but it seems that their hard work on social media to kind of push that fight is slowly but surely paying off. So, I mean, this is a one that they have pushed for heavily. The fans obviously want to see it. I was going to ask you if you want to see it there, but I think I know the answer to that already.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those do not blink fights, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, because both incredibly talented guys. I mean, what we're looking at the records here, they've got Anderson's 12-4, Walker's 17-3, so they're quite well poised, to be fair. Not like there's a massive gulf there.
Walker's last knockout was absolutely devastating.
I think I remember you showing me the clip the next morning.
I mean, it was mainly shown for the celebration. Don't do that again,
Johnny.
Don't
do that again.
If you didn't see it, he sort of went to do the worm whilst saluting, and when he flopped down, managed to, I think, dislocate his shoulder.
He didn't move, put it that way. There wasn't a whole lot of worming went on when he hit the floor. It was like, bang. Oh no.
In subsequent interviews, hyping up a potential fight here, he said, if I win, I will not injure myself.
Good, and I'm sure you've been told to say that.
It's madness. You won the fight, but you're the one getting carried out and seen by the medics.
It was the way he was on the floor, like, I have made a huge mistake here.
He didn't have a scratch on him apart from that either.
Barely a drop on him, and there he is on the floor in a heap with a dislocated
Corey Anderson is a man not to be taken lightly either. If this fight comes along, that card, I know we've sort of been speculating quite a lot recently on what could be on that UFC 244 card. A lot of fights been thrown at it, a lot of names been thrown at it, but that one for me should be one they're really, really pushing, especially as a non-title fight.
Do you know what it is? I'm worried because of the quality of matches that are now being sort of touted for this. This is how it works. We get all the build-up towards these big shows, and then things start going wrong right before the show.
Don't get injured.
We've got until November. There's a long while we've got to wait until November, but with any luck, fingers crossed, the caliber of match continues in the same vein, and touch whatever wood you can find, none of these matches end up getting pulled from the card.
Yes, let us know what matches you'd like to see at UFC 244, and let us know your thoughts on Colby Covington's comment and all the fighters going after him as well in the comments section below, and let us know on Twitter as well. You can follow him on Twitter at
It's Adam Nicholas, and you can follow him on Twitter
at Adam Wilborn. Thanks to you for watching. Thanks to Adam Nicholas for being my wonderful co-host. And thanks to all the fighters for just constantly bantering each other off on Twitter. We will see you soon.